Hello everybody, MegaZard's here, and I'm back at it again to give y'all another exciting video. And yes, it is that time of the week where I sit down with all of y'all fine folks and go through and discuss all the gaming related news that happened within the past week. And there's quite a bit of different topics I have to discuss to y'all about today, because we got some new confirmation of an Animal Crossing bundle that's coming out to the Switch. We also managed to get a brand new Final Fantasy VII Remake trailer that looks super exciting. We also have a Fire Emblem Heroes Pass that's been, throwing everybody into a bit of controversy, and you got an upset fan base dealing with that. We also got the confirmation that a Wonderful 101 Kickstarter officially kicked off to try to get that game to come to the Switch as well as other consoles. And lastly, we also managed to get a Persona 5S demo that launched this week as well. And I got a couple of little other mini topics to squeeze in there in between all of that stuff though. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive straight up into these news topics. On Thursday, January the 30th, Nintendo came out on Twitter and announced that yes, there's going to be a brand new Animal Crossing Switch bundle to be releasing right around the time that Animal Crossing New Horizon actually launches for the Nintendo Switch. Normally, I would have reported about this within last week's Gamers Brief, but due to the fact that, this announcement was made like nearly like a couple or a few hours after I sat down and recorded my previous Gamers Brief, I wasn't able to squeeze that up in there though, so I wanted to take the time to go out, take the time out to be able to talk about this first within my Gamers Brief. And I got to say, looking at this new system, I'm like, man, that whole entire pastel colors they got for those Joy-Cons are really cool, and I like how the white is kind of on the back of those Joy-Cons. I don't know, it's just something that's like super soothing, super relaxful. It's kind of like the perfect theme kind of Switch to release right around that springtime window when when Animal Crossing is actually releasing out. And I ain't gonna lie, blue and green are some of like my favorite colors though, but seeing that pastel color with that lighting kind of color like that, I'm like, man, that looks really good. Like, I really want to kind of get these Joy-Cons though. However, for y'all that may want these Joy-Cons and don't want to buy like the whole entire new Switch bundle or whatever though, they are selling these individually in Japan, but there's no word about it in terms of whether or not they're going to be sold separately in other regions such as North America or Europe or other places around the world. We don't know about that yet, but at least they're going to be selling them in Japan. So worst case scenario, you'll go like to Amazon Japan or something like that, and you just have to work around importing them and trying to get them to your country. But other than that, man, the dog looks super clean and stuff. It's interesting to kind of see that with a white dog instead. Like, this is our first full on color dog or whatever though, and I know this. When Nintendo released this statement about there being an Animal Crossing themed Switch, I know it got a lot of people digging in their wallets. Like, I know a couple of my friends that were like, what the heck? And literally like less than 24 hours later, they already got this mess pre-ordered, even though they already own a Switch, and they're basically going to upgrade to this new version though. And also for everybody that's a collector out there that likes to sort of kind of collect all the different Switch bundles, whether it's been like the Smash one or the Pokemon one that we actually got out, or any other kind of themed Switches, they're also going to be selling the boxes straight from Japan. Boxes that you get to put together though, but you'll be able to have that theme looking box of the Animal Crossing Switch bundle if you want to. Now, I know they're going to be doing this in Japan. There's no confirmation whether or not they're going to do it in other regions like North America or Europe though. But they're apparently going to sell it for what would be equivalent to $5 American US dollars out of Japan. But then you have to worry about the importing cost or whatever though. So there is that for y'all collectors that also want to keep an eye out on that as well though. And it's kind of interesting they dropped this out though. I was expecting something like this though, but overall it looks really cool. And gosh darn, I gotta find a way how to get them Joy-Cons somehow though, even though I really don't need it though, but they look so cool. And on Friday, January the 31st, a brand new Final Fantasy VII Remake trailer dropped on that day, and gosh darn, that trailer looks so freaking cool. I'm like, oh my gosh, we got to see the brand new design of Red 13, and I was like, oh my gosh, he looks so good. And you just go back and compare the stuff in the original Final Fantasy VII game and compare all the different stuff that we get in the Final Fantasy VII Remake so far, and I'm just like sitting down and thinking, man, is this really real? Like what in the world? And We also got to see the whole, Cloud cross-dressing scene that a lot of people were really curious about and see how well that is. We also got to see, Tifa in her new dress and stuff, and gosh darn, she looks really nice and super fine in her design with that dress though. And overall, man, this game's just looking more impressive every single time I get to see a brand new trailer though. It is a bit unfortunate that, the game has got delayed from March 3rd up until like April the 10th though, but it seems like they're definitely putting in a lot of work though. So I'm like, you know what, they're taking their good sweet old time up in this though. And it's really interesting to also see Genova up in this, which, normally he's not shown until like way later in the game, but certainly not in the middle of Midgard like this though. So I like how they're doing like these certain little different twists in the game that makes it seem a lot more expansive, because Midgard, while it has a decent amount of stuff up in it, it wasn't nearly as long as what we are thinking that somehow they managed to stretch this Final Fantasy VII Remake game out into different parts and was able to just leave the whole Midgard section to itself though. So it's really cool and really impressive that they're all the stuff that they're basically pulling off with this so far though. Man, some really good vibes from the trailer as well. Oh gosh, I've really been loving these the music that's also been remastered as well during these certain moments and scenes though. But overall, I am super excited when Final Fantasy VII Remake drops on April 10th. On Saturday, February 1st, there were reports that PlayStation Remote Play could be a possibility coming to the Nintendo Switch. Now, with Sony's Remote Play feature, it basically allows you to stream gameplay from your PlayStation 4 to your PlayStation Vita or your smart device. And it would seem like the platformer holder is keen to expand the remit of Remote Play in the future. And it has been quizzing PS4 owners about what they would like to see in the future. The survey shared on Reddit asked if PS4 owners would be interested in streaming gameplay to other devices like the Nintendo Switch. It also makes reference to the DualShock controller and would include a screen to play on the go like a traditional handheld console, and asked users if an online version of Remote Play would be appealing. How this will work in reality remains to be seen. So overall, it's kind of interesting to kind of see, Sony going around and, basically sending out surveys to all of their PS4 owners and say, you know what, with Remote Play, would you be curious or interested in about, having Remote Play be an option or a possibility for you to actually do on your Nintendo Switch? Because, this is something that we would almost sort of kind of expect for them to kind of do with Microsoft, with their whole Xbox Series X and what they plan to do with their xCloud and trying to get it on as many devices as possible for like their subscription-based kind of model that they've been really kind of pushing so hard. I can sort of kind of see this being more so a thing with Microsoft, but to see actually PlayStation sort of kind of nitpicking and kind of picking other people's brains and saying, you know what, would you really like this, asking their fan base about that though, is really interesting, because PlayStation's really reserved and they're not super outgoing like Microsoft though. So it was kind of interesting to kind of see this though, and I wonder, is it the matter of fact that they're starting to kind of ask around like ideas like this because they're trying to really compete with Microsoft, and with their xCloud and being able to play on so many different devices, Sony's gonna have to find some kind of way to be able to compete on that level of Microsoft. So that's my kind of 2 cents on that though, and it's kind of interesting to kind of see the possibility. We don't know if this actually will actually happen though, but maybe someday in the future you might be able to play your PlayStation games on a Nintendo console such as the Nintendo Switch. Also on that day, Fire Emblem Heroes was having their 3rd anniversary event, and they had a special announcement to all the fans that yes, a monthly subscription pass that costs $9.50 each month will be dropping within the next week. And this basically sent a lot of different fans into like pandemonium though. But before I actually start to give my little 2 cents over it though, let's just talk about what actually comes within this pass. So yes, of course it will cost $9.50 a month, and it will provide a wide range of exclusive cosmetics and useful gameplay changing features. It launches on the game's next update, which happened to be on February the 5th of this week. And once you signed up for it, you'll get resplendent heroes, snazzily dressed versions of existing characters with new costumes and voices that also enjoy a +2 buff to all stats, and the 2 will be downloaded out in each subscription period on the 10th and the 25th of each month. The pass will also unlock a rewind feature named React, which lets you twist the clock back to the beginning of the previous turn before making a move. Something kind of similar to what we kind of see within like the core games, such as Fire Emblem Three Houses, which was the recent one, as well as Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia with the rewind feature. So they're kind of implementing that within the mobile games though. There's no limit to the number of times you can use React within a battle, and you can even use it from the game over screen, though it's off limits in the Coliseum and Ether raids. And finally, you also get a special Fade Pass quest with valuable items such as orbs and expanded summoner support to bond up with 3 heroes instead of just 1. So basically, it seems like they're basically providing a lot of different quality of life improvements to the game that's sort of kind of locked behind this pass, as well as, you know, getting exclusive sort of kind of units that will be given to you if you had the monthly subscription fee. And I believe there's also an option where you can individually like kind of purchase sort of say those characters that you get underneath the Fade Pass individually or whatever though, and maybe some other small little tidbits here and there maybe individually from the pass though. But yes, if you have the pass, you'll get this whole grand package, $9.50 a month. Now I know a lot of people are kind of split on this, and you know, a lot of people don't, you know, a lot of people just don't accept a lot of greedy monetization within mobile games. It's just the way how things are, and $9.50 a month is pretty steep, and especially considering the fact that, you know, Mario Kart Tour is doing like a subscription monthly model. So, you know, it started first with Tour, and now we're getting it with Fire Emblem, and Fire Emblem already makes so much money. I was wondering why in the world did they really need to actually, you know, take the time out and say, you know what, let's have a monthly pass for Fire Emblem as well. It probably will still bring them a lot of money, and there's still going to be those whales out there that still will buy up pretty much anything to be able to support their games. And you know what, if you want to support the game, you know what, fine by me though. But for other people that, you know, that just don't like monetization at all within mobile games and saying, you know what, for the money that you're paying, you can get a whole lot more content out of other games. Like, you compare about putting that money into like traditional, you know, console Fire Emblem games, so to say, then yeah, you're not getting as much for your money's worth though. But it's just some things to kind of consider about, and you know, there's a lot of different things you can say on both sides of this argument though. But it has been putting a lot of different Fire Emblem Hero fans in quite a bit of a controversy. On Sunday, February the 2nd, it was Super Bowl Sunday, so not a lot of gaming stuff related happened on that day though. However, on the Super Bowl, there was a little moment where Nintendo actually dropped a Super Bowl ad at the very end of the game. Like, once the winners were determined late into that fourth quarter, Nintendo actually dropped out, you know, a 30-second ad that played at the end of that Super Bowl commercial. And this basically marks the second time that Nintendo actually made an appearance within the Super Bowl. The first one being, you know, their Nintendo Switch debut back in February of 2017. That was right before the Switch's launch on March 2017. And also, sort of kind of Nintendo-ish, but not purely Nintendo, we also had that Pokemon Go commercial that was in the Super Bowl commercial the previous year before that in 2016 though. So yeah, basically Nintendo's second time, or sort of kind of Nintendo-ish in a general kind of aspect, third time of them being able to be shown within a Super Bowl commercial. And honestly, it just so, you know, a father and his daughter basically, you know, playing like Link's Awakening as well as Luigi's Mansion 3, and overall they were just having a really cool, fun time. And honestly, you know, kind of pulls on the heartstrings a little bit though, but honestly, really nice, solid, sweet commercial from Nintendo during the Super Bowl. On Monday, February the 3rd, confirmation of a Wonderful 101 port is in the works through a Kickstarter, and Plaitnum is hoping to have the game go multi-platform. And essentially the whole reason why they wanted to do this Kickstarter was they basically walked to Nintendo and say, hey, you know what, we want to have the Wonderful 101 on your Switch. And they were like, oh, okay, cool, we'll help you fund it or whatever though. And then it's like, well, no, not just that, Nintendo, but we also want to put it on other consoles, such as maybe on the PC with Steam and possibly on the PS4. Will you allow us to do it? And Nintendo said, you know what, we'll allow you to do it, but if you want to put it on other consoles, that's on you. You're gonna have to pull the funds out of your own pocket to be able to put it on other consoles though. But we'll allow you to basically put this game on whatever consoles that you want to, as long as you're able to fund it yourself. So basically, Platinum Games went to Kickstarter in order for them to help publish this game on multiple different consoles, and they had different goals set for each one in terms of which console they're going to be able to bring it to. So the original goal was $50,000 in order to get it to go to Switch. And man, they got that amount of money within mere minutes. I'm talking about less than like 20 minutes. They had over $50,000 to be able to hit that goal in just mere minutes, which was kind of crazy. So right off the bat, we know that this game is coming out for the Switch. And then the second goal was $250,000 for them to be able to get it on the Steam, and the last goal was $500,000 for them to be able to get it on the PS4. And yeah, before 24 hours was up, they hit all those goals. And right now, currently, I'm looking at the Kickstarter right now. They managed to raise, at the time of this recording, $1.41 plus million. I'm like, what in the world? So yes, that thing is coming through basically all those platforms. So it's gonna be on the Switch, it's gonna be on Steam, and it's gonna be on the PS4. And they basically said, you know what, this game should be launching on April for the Switch, at least, with probably, you know, the other releases for the other consoles at later points though. But at least digitally and some point around physically, they're gonna be able to release that game starting around April-ish. So that lets us know that, hey, they basically were working on this in the background though. They had a good feeling it was at least gonna come to Switch though, but they were trying to push and try to get it to other consoles as well. And thankfully they managed to hit all of these goals though. And I know some people are a bit worried of whether or not, you know, a lot of different other companies might go to Kickstarter to help publish their games though. But if you look at big ones such as Bethesda, your Square Enix, Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony, no, there's no really good reason for them to do that because they got all the money though. But Plaitnum isn't as big as those other companies, so I can kind of see that, and I'm kind of thankful they went to Kickstarter to do this though. But I hope that not other companies besides Plaitnum managed to result to go into the Kickstarter route for funding and being able to publish their own games though. But that's not the only Plaitnum news I have to talk to y'all about, because with the release of this Kickstarter though, on their website they basically had a Plaitnum 4 project, and this appears to be a hub for featuring upcoming projects, which is going to be 4 in total naturally. So the first one we already know about is the Wonderful 101 coming to Switch, PS4, as well as Steam. But also there leaves 3 open slots for other Plaitnum projects to be able to happen though. And this makes me think, you know what? Is there a possibility that we could also get certain games such as Scalebound, which was originally a project that was kind of going on between Plaitnum as well as, you know, Microsoft before they cancel it? Maybe there's a way how somehow they managed to get the rights back from Microsoft, and you know, they'll be able to somehow self-publish it to where they get it to go out on different other games. Or maybe they say, you know what, hey, since we're able to self-publish now, maybe we're able to find a way to be able to fund a project where we can get Nier coming to the Switch or something like that, or who knows what other different kind of games. Or it could just be brand new IPs that we don't even know about coming to either the Switch or maybe the PS4, or who knows what system to be able to release on though. But overall, some really good exciting stuff, because, you know, Platinum Games always does a really good job at making games though, and I wish them the best of success for their Platinum 4 projects and the other 3 announcements they basically have up their sleeve though. But it's really interesting though. But let me know down in the comment section down below, what do you really want to see from Platinum Game in terms of these 4 project reveals, or I guess the remaining 3 that we have upcoming. On Tuesday, February 4th, a PlayStation 5 site goes live telling us a small little bit about the new system. And on their site it read, "We've begun to share some of the incredible features you can expect from PlayStation 5, but we're not quite ready to fully unveil the next generation of PlayStation. Sign up below to be among the first to receive updates as we announce them, including news of the PlayStation 5 release date, the PlayStation 5 price, and the upcoming roster of PS5 launch games." So overall, it was, you know, it was just kind of interesting to kind of see them make a small little segment about a little bit of information that says, you know what, you know, the PlayStation 5, yes, it's planning on releasing this holiday though, but we don't have all the details out yet. And it makes me think, you know what, within the next couple of few months, definitely no later than E3, we gotta know all the different features about the PlayStation 5 in terms of, you know, what's about the system specs or whatever you can basically do with the PS5, as well as, you know, what's really important being the launch titles and what we can expect to see within that console though. And I feel like, you know, they're sort of kind of watching Microsoft with their Xbox Series X and maybe their pricing, how much they're going to price their system for, and see how flexible they're going to be able to negotiate and be able to come down to a agreement price of, you know, how much they can expect the consumer to be able to pay in terms of being able to provide a decent competition advantage over Microsoft, depending on the price that they basically set for their Xbox Series X though. So I feel like they're kind of doing like a little wait and stalling. It's kind of like a showdown between Sony and Microsoft, like, you know, like we're in like a Western movie or whatever though. They got their hands on the gun, they're waiting for the first one to fire, and then they're gonna try to counter the other person with their shot though. I feel like that's where we're at with PlayStation side, looking at Microsoft right now in terms of their competition with Microsoft though. So some interesting kind of news information about the PlayStation 5, and some people were thinking we may get an event sometime this February though, but I know everybody and their mom was really hungry and really craving some information about the PlayStation 5, since we know little to nothing about it in comparison to the Xbox Series X. And lastly, on Wednesday, February the 5th, or Thursday, February the 6th, if you live in Japan, that is the day when the Persona 5S demo actually went live on the Nintendo eShop from the Japan side, as well as the PlayStation Network on Japan side. So basically that demo dropped on their Japanese eShop and PlayStation Network at roughly about the same time. Technically the Switch version actually launched like several hours before the PlayStation Network was able to get their demo though, but it was kind of interesting to kind of see how that played out though. But I did manage to go hands-on with the demo, and you know, obviously, you know, all the text and stuff was all in Japanese though, so I wasn't able to kind of, you know, get like a really good feel of what the demo was, but I was able to get a really good feel of how the gameplay actually played out, because you know, you don't have to speak a different language to play the game or whatever though, in terms of just the gameplay by itself though. But I was missing out on a little bit on the character interactions though. But based upon the gameplay itself, it was actually really good and really fun, because normally I don't really like beat 'em up games that much. The most I ever had was basically like Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 though, but something was just clicking with this Persona 5S demo, and the way how you could be able to use like the different abilities and skills that normally have like a closer relationship with the Persona 5. And overall, even though I couldn't understand what the Japanese were basically were saying based upon the text or whatever though, I could definitely tell a lot of love and passion was putting into this game, because this definitely does not feel like your typical Musou game where you're able, or where it's just purely about beating up or whatever though, because there was a lot of different aspects with Persona, with the whole entire calendar system and whatnot though, being able to walk around and explore. That's kind of similar to the baseline game or Persona 5, the vanilla version of the game. But overall, I really had a good fun time with it. It was nice kind of seeing the different characters though, and gosh darn, this really kind of made me want to really get into the Persona series, which is still kind of shocking how in the world we do not have a Persona 5 on the Switch yet though, but we are going to get Persona 5S first. And technically this is the sequel based upon events that actually happened after the Persona 5 vanilla version, because basically, you know, all these characters are basically on summer vacation that's roughly about a month or so, and instead of them staying within Tokyo, they're actually traveling all throughout Japan. So that's basically kind of like the rough sort of kind of plot summary of basically some of the pre-early stuff that's happening within Persona 5S, and then obviously everything else that comes later, we have to actually play the games in order to fully understand it though. But overall, the game seems fun. Really like the combat features with it, like the social elements that they added up in it though. It really does feel like more so like a Persona game in general rather than a Musou game. So if y'all hadn't already, you can try out this demo. You just got to make sure that you have a Japanese Nintendo account and download the demo from the Japanese eShop store, or have a Japanese PlayStation Network account where you're able to download it from the Japanese PlayStation store and be able to download that demo as well though. But that game does release later this month in February for Japan. And that is about it in terms of all the news topics that had happened within the gaming world for this past week though. But I do want to remind everybody that yes, a week from now, we are going to have the new Sonic movie that's going to be releasing in theaters though, so I'm super excited about that. I already got my tickets pre-ordered. I'm going to be seeing that movie on Saturday, the day after, you know, the original launch date on that Friday though. So y'all got to, you know, get hyped up for that one though, because the movie does look super promising though, and I'm super excited and super stoked for that movie though. But yeah, in terms of just other gaming information and stuff, that's about it in terms of this Gamers Brief though. But let me know down in the comment section below, what all do you think about that Animal Crossing bundle? Are you going to get that? And what do you think about that Final Fantasy VII Remake trailer? Are you really hyped about the game? That you're really loving the new designs in terms of, like, you know, Red 13 or the whole Cloud cross-dressing thing, or seeing Tifa in that dress in full HD glory and all that stuff? Are you a bit disappointed or a bit frustrated about there's another mobile game that's getting a monthly pass with Fire Emblem Heroes? And what do you think about the wonderful one-on-one coming to the Switch in all platforms at this point in the game, as well as, you know, the 3 other little mystery gifts that we're gonna 3 other mystery games, so to say, that could be releasing from Plaitnum Games with their Plaitnum 4 project. And then lastly, with the Persona 5S demo, have y'all tried it out? What do y'all think about the game as a whole, though? Just let me know about any of those topics or what you think about those certain discussions down in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions about all of these different topics, though. But yeah, that about does it for this week's Gamers Brief, y'all. So remember, y'all, until whatever video I make next, this is MegaZard X signing out for this week's Gamers Brief.